They are critical to the safety of our homes, and they're designed to prevent fires, not cause them. Tonight, the NBC Bay Area Investigative Unit has uncovered problems with circuit breakers in thousands of Bay Area homes.
Chief Investigative Reporter Tony Kowaleski is here with the details. And Tony, you've discovered there's been really a long history of problems.
There have, Jess, Raj. It's supposed to make everyone safer, but this circuit breaker has a long history of failing. For decades, the Consumer Product Safety Commission has known about the problems, but there has been no recall.
It lit up cherry red.
He's a master electrician.
And it lit up that crawl space like the gates of hell. It could have killed me.
Remembering a morning back in 1979, working a crawl space under a Bay Area house.
I had to roll and approach that panel on my hands and knees through the small opening from the crawl space and shut it off manually with the panel on fire and spitting flame in my face.
He blames a faulty circuit breaker, a Federal Pacific stab lock breaker.
I've seen so many fires. I've seen so many places burned by these panels. It's frightening to me every time I see it over and over again.
Circuit breakers are designed to prevent fires. When working properly, they stop the flow of electricity following excessive demand or a short circuit. Today, Federal Pacific circuit breakers are in millions of homes nationwide, including hundreds of thousands of Bay Area houses. They're most commonly found in homes built before 1990.
So the breaker is a safety device that's supposed to prevent fires. If it doesn't work as required, you get an increased risk of fire.
Jesse Ehrenstein is an expert on Federal Pacific circuit breakers. He's an engineer. He spent more than 20 years researching the problem, and he's testified in lawsuits against the now defunct company.
There's no inconsistency and no dispute as to the fact that they're defective.
Ehrenstein says tests by the Consumer Product Safety Commission and a number of other credible labs all proved Federal Pacific breakers are not reliable.
This is a Federal Pacific breaker.
So how does it fail? Watch closely. We had a Federal Pacific circuit breaker tested at this lab in Berkeley.
We're started.
It's a 60-amp breaker, the same as you find in many homes. We've doubled the current it's rated to handle. That means it should trip in less than 2 minutes.
We're at 1 minute and 10 seconds now, and there's smoke coming out of the breaker. There's a definite smoke coming out.
The lab cut away some of the plastic siding so you can have a closer look, an aesthetic change that experts say will not alter the functionality of the breaker.
We're almost 4 minutes in. It's smoking, and it hasn't tripped. Why not? Because the mechanical mechanism that is supposed to be tripping the breaker is stuck.
It raises many questions. How can a defective circuit breaker pass federal inspections? How did it comply with Federal Electric Code and receive this UL stamp of approval? And how did a known defective product get into millions of homes?
FPE was cheating on the testing and applying the label to product that was defective and did not meet the requirements.
An accusation of cheating that is supported by this document obtained by NBC Bay Area. It's a 1982 SEC filing from the company that purchased Federal Pacific. Look closely, it reads, UL listings on circuit breakers made by Federal Pacific have previously been obtained through the use of deceptive or improper practices. According to this respected expert, Federal Pacific tricked government inspectors by using a hidden remote control to force the breaker to trip if it was not tripping properly.
They represent an abnormal hazard. They should be replaced.
And take a look at this internal document we obtained from Bay Area Rapid Transit. It shows BART also had electrical equipment problems with Federal Pacific. It reads, there have been 2 instances of failures with the old Federal Pacific electric secondary distribution panels. And it goes on to say, failure of this old equipment has caused delays to BART train service and created potentially unsafe conditions. BART replaced the Federal Pacific equipment.
So we're going to take all the breakers out of it, run the wires over here, new breakers. That's the story.
And homeowner Daniel Schmidt also decided to remove Federal Pacific from his home's electrical system, removing the risk from his East Bay home.
I know it's going to be safer. It's a panel, it's got quite a reputation.
So this breaker is so hot that it's smoking. It will not trip.
You cannot run the risk of having breakers that might malfunction.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission tested the Federal Pacific breakers back in the 80s, and legal challenges then followed. The CPSC never forced a recall, and some believe the CPSC did not have the budget for that legal fight. Now, we spoke with a Bay Area attorney representing the defunct Federal Pacific Company. She declined a request to comment on the investigation. Now, this is interesting. Jesse Ehrenstein believes failures with Federal Pacific circuit breakers are responsible for 2,000 fires nationwide each year, many undetected by fire departments because they don't drill down that deep.
Okay, so I know where the circuit breakers are in my house, but how can I figure out if those are this Federal Pacific ones, though?
Well, I brought this along to show you. This is a Federal Pacific circuit breaker. Generally, you can tell if it has this unique orange front on the very beginning. Also, it'll have a stab lock. It may say and have that label there. Now, we have put together a video demonstrating with an expert who will take you through step by step to check to see if you have a breaker like this made by Federal Pacific in your home. You can find it at our website at NBCBayArea.com. So something to take a close look at.
Yeah.
Many, many homes in the Bay Area may have these inside.
It's definitely something you want to go outside and look at. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony. A lot of people will be checking. If you have a tip for our investigative unit, give us a call. You see the numbers right in front of your screen at 888-996-TIPS, or send us an email directly to theunit@NBCBayArea.com.